Hello, hello, hello. I hope you can hear me. Okay. Okay, so it's going to be a very intimate class tonight. Uh, Let me make sure that I have everything the way it's supposed to be. Uh, okay, here we go. Nizam will not be able to host, so it's going to be up to me to both host and guide the class. Um, should I wait a little bit longer? Let's wait a little longer. Do you have the any? Do you have the email? Of course you do. You're here. Mm, okay. I'll read the email that got us here. So join us this week to explore the concept of enlightened nature and the Tibetan Buddhist perspective on how it informs our practice. It is said that it is rare to encounter the teachings around enlightened nature, divinity or Tathagatha Gharba. If understood incorrectly, however, trusting in one's enlightened nature can lead to complacency and indifference as one rests on the false sense of spiritual stability. Appropriate rationality to enlightened nature, on the other hand, can accelerate spiritual nourishment and lead to a rich and profound engagement with life. Yeah, Nizam did a nice job again, as usual. But since this is going to be very intimate, just us, you can let's make this an very interactive where it make it conversational. If you have any questions, just pop your question. Right, before we begin, of course, with our with our usual format with the meditation. I think everyone who's going to be here is here now. Well, yeah, people are still coming. Okay. All right, let's begin the meditation. And if other people come, join, and they will join us. Bring the intention to enter meditation. Understanding the meaning of meditation, but do not impose your understanding of the meaning of meditation, but rather just go into the essence of what you feel meditation is without expressing it, and just stay there. And as you stay there, allow the different dimensions of you to respond to this intention to enter meditation. Let the physicality, let the energetic, allow the emotional, the intellectual, all the different parts that make up a being, all the different parts that make up you. Let all the different parts respond to this intention to enter meditation. And feel yourself staying in the center of all these different parts, these different aspects. Being open to whatever response that they may have. Be aware of the response coming from the physical part of you. Be aware of the communication coming from that innate intelligence that's in the body. Allow it to participate, allow it to guide you. It knows best how the body should be positioned in order for you to go as deeply as you can into meditation. So when you feel the need to make adjustments, understand it is coming from that innate intelligence in the body guiding you. So make the adjustments mindfully, consciously, seeking comfort and stability. Be with the legs. Let that intelligence guide you. What adjustments you need to make, if you need to make them, and mindfully make them. And through the adjustments, notice comfort and stability. And once you feel confident in the comfort and stability of the legs, then move your awareness to your torso. And wait for that sense of confidence in the comfort and stability coming from the torso itself, the front, the back. Noticing the cooperation taking place, rejoice. Bring attention, bring awareness to the arms from the shoulders all the way to the tip of the fingers. Arrange the hands in such a way that by the mere placement of how the hands are, they remind you that you are meditating. In case your thoughts seems to wander, and if it goes to your hands, the very position of the hands take you back to meditation. The shoulders, they feel even, relaxed. The torso gives you a sense of alertness, attentiveness. The legs give you a sense of stability. Then your head and neck. And feel a sense of centeredness of the head and neck. Centered, so there's no conscious effort in holding them in place. Even in the posture itself, begin to feel that you're touching the meditative state. That's why in the Ashtanga yoga tradition, you're asked to spend a great deal of time with finding the proper posture, so that through the posture itself, you begin to touch the inner meaningful, what is meaningful within. Let the mouth, teeth, tongue rest in their natural places. Interestingly enough, as far as the tongue is concerned, perhaps if you're still having problem with saliva building up in the mouth, make sure you position the head and neck in such a way that the mouth feels leveled, and press the tongue, first press the tongue against the back part of the upper teeth, and like creating a vacuum, a suction, and relax. That may help with stopping the buildup of saliva in the mouth. So feel naturalness with the mouth, teeth, and the jaw. Feel the muscles of the face relaxing, or just hold the intention for the muscles of the face to relax, and no need for you to order them or force them to do so. Just hold the intention, relax. Let the muscles respond naturally. Finally, bring attention to your eyes and rest your eyes in whatever posture enhances the sense of meditating for you. Some completely closed works best, others slightly open where you don't really necessarily see any specific shapes, or halfway open where you're looking, gazing as if your hand is in front of you like this. Or you can have your eyes staring straight ahead, but not looking at any specific objects, but rather focusing on space itself. Or whatever position that you feel helps you make a more deeper contact with meditative state, you adopt that. And once you finish with the eyes, scan the entire posture, feel the overall sensation in the body. Feel the connection with the signs that you are entering meditation, and rejoice. And gently bring attention to the breath. As you breathe in, you simply are aware that you're breathing in. As you breathe out, you're simply aware that you're breathing out, without seeking to control the breath, without seeking to chase away other perceptions that are present. Just make the breath as central as you can. And eventually, you will notice a slight shift in the breath. Take that as an indication of a greater alignment having taken place with the different dimensions of you. And with that indication, let's now make a deliberate commitment to enter the meditation now. And with that, gently, fully through the nose, breathe in. Hold it for a few seconds. And as you hold it, strengthen your determination, strengthen your intention, make it clearer. And then release. And as you release, let go, feel the letting go taking place physically, feel the letting go taking place emotionally, energetically, feel the letting go taking place mentally. And at the end of the exhalation, feel yourself having reached a new level of calm and pleasantness, and try to stay there and let the breath return on its own. Sometimes you may feel a natural pause, natural wish to not breathe. No need to hold the breath, just let it, just watch it, and let the breath return. But try to stay in that measure of calm. Try to stay in that measure of pleasantness. And we will do this 2 more times. And after the inhale, do a top up, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay? Breathe in, hold, strengthen your motivation, make your intention clearer, and through the mouth, release. And as you release, feel yourself going even deeper into the calm. Feel yourself going deeper into the pleasantness. Feel clarity arising. Feel luminosity arising. Feel attention collecting. Rejoice. And at the end, stay. Leave the breath alone. And for the third and last time, gently, fully breathe in. Energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, feel a new level of calm, pleasantness. Rejoice. Notice the signs arising, pointing to clarity and radiance, whatever it may be for you, whether it's tactile, visual, audio, whatever it may be for you. Welcome the signs. And immediately tell yourself, this is a sign of my mind being clearer. This is a sign of my mind being more luminous, more attention being more collected. And we'll begin, we'll do the meditation based on the teaching, the topic that we are going to cover today. Have this sort of understanding that whatever you feel are dimensions of you, about expressions, flavorings, manifestations of a field that in its own pure state is freedom itself, freedom to take on any expression, freedom to express being in unlimited, immeasurable means. And right now, it is expressing itself through this physicality, through this energy, through these emotions, through these drives, through these understandings, through these beliefs. And as you hold on to that understanding, relax. Hold on to the understanding. Relax. And as you relax, you begin to be no longer aware of certain of these manifold expressions that are you, many different dimensions that express you. Consider that to be that they have withdrawn into that pool of pure potentiality. And right now, the expression that is the expression of understanding, the expression of knowing, right now is expressed as not knowing this fundamental state, this pool of pure potential. And wishing for knowing and understanding to have a direct understanding, a direct experience, a direct knowing of this fundamental state. Imagine coming from this pool of pure potential, an appearance, a pure appearance. And think of the pure appearance as it is pure because even though it is a manifestation, it is an appearance, it is a form of some sort, it doesn't have disconnection to the knowing of its nature. And it is an aspect coming from your own potential, arising, taking shape from the vocabulary of your own mind, of your own understanding. So it takes an appearance. By the mere perception of that appearance, the appearance itself is reminding you of something meaningful within you, something pure within you. It is guiding you, just the appearance of it. What is that appearance for you? And see it glowing, shining, because shining in the sense that you're mesmerized by its presence. You can't help but look at it. You can't help but continue to see it. And as you're seeing it, you feel that you're being drawn into something. You're being reminded of something. So keep looking at this beautiful presence. And you feel that it is somehow validating something deep within you, a conviction deep within you. There is more to what I have seen and what I'm heard and what I know. There's more coming from this very expression that I call me. And this appearance is validating that with its mere presence. And because of what it's reminding you of, you feel grateful to it, and you feel grateful to what it is reminding you of. So allow yourself to feel gratitude. And as you feel the gratitude, it takes you deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness. The clarity is becoming clearer. The luminosity is becoming brighter. Attention is becoming more and more collected, less and less prone to venturing outward. And because of this presence, what it's reminding you of, you feel great confidence, great trust that it can only guide you to what is meaningful. So you trust it. And as you are expressing your trust, you go deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness. Clarity is becoming clearer. Luminosity brighter. The sense of attention collecting itself more and more collected. Becoming less and less interested in anything outside this very experience. And towards that presence and towards what it's reminding you, you feel great reverence. And as you express this reverence, again, you go deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness. The pleasantness is slightly shifting into pure joy, pure ecstasy. As you go deeper into your own nature, clearer, brighter, more collected. And it wishes to give you a taste and feel yourself ready for that taste. It appears as other, but keep reminding yourself it emerged from your own field of reality. From the very field out of which whatever that you call parts of you, that you call you, are expressions of, or molded. And it sends a bright light, shining brighter and brighter and brighter, filling all space. And as it fills all space, all objects appearing in space are becoming that light. And you and the light merge into each other. Now there's just this bright light. No more appearances, no more differentiations, no more you, no more me's, no more body, no more mind, just this bright light, knowing. And the bright light slowly shrinks, shrinks, until it is smaller than an atom, shrinking until there's no more appearance whatsoever. Immediately, just rest there. Rest. Okay, make a wish to emerge. The space is filled with light again. And then differentiation begins to appear again. Emotions, mind, physicality, energy. You feel, you see, you hear. And you don't forget. They're all but expressions of that fundamental purity. You get ready to come out of the meditation. With that intention to come out, take a nice deep breath, gently, fully breathe in. Release. And as you release, deliberately, consciously reconnect with your immediate surroundings. Feel your surroundings through the sense of touch. feeling the temperature, feeling your clothing, feel the seat, feel the physicality, feel the energy, hear the different sounds, and deliberately notice colors, shapes, lights, shadows. Oh, thank you. That was we're back to long meditations. Okay. All right. The topic for today, I thought of it because every once in a while I hear fellow practitioners and I read uh, people talk about like in normal conversation, and then it would come up, oh, we're all enlightened anyway, where we are talking about something that is very tragic, a lot of suffering. And then I guess as a way for the person to address their immediate sense of not being able to do anything about it, as a way for them to feel not so overwhelmed, so that they can continue to be functional. So they might say, oh, we're all enlightened anyway, something like that. As the email said, it is a beautiful and rare teaching to come across, a teaching about enlightened nature, and it has so many different names. Buddha nature, Tathagatha Gharba, the womb of thusness. What else? Fundamental being. And it is a way, you could say the purpose or the reason for giving this teaching would be to encourage people who are feeling overwhelmed with the path. I have to do all that. I have to go and collect all these things. I have to do and amass all these things within all this time. And you could say one skillful means of teaching about Tathagatha Gharba, Buddha Dhatu, is to overcome this discouragement that may come, because one, in the beginning, there's a lot of enthusiasm. Perhaps in the beginning, there is a great sense of being able to take on the spiritual path. And as time goes by, then you begin to have a realistic perspective on the energy that is needed and necessary to continue the path. And when one contrasts that with what one has at their disposal, one might feel discouraged. So the teaching of the Tathagatha Gharba was a way of overcoming that. But it is not simply a means to help people who are feeling overwhelmed with the task of spirituality to not be discouraged, but it's pointing to a very beautiful fundamental thing. What in the Mahayana form of Buddhism, what is known within Mahayana Buddhism as Buddha nature, you could say there's hint given to it within the what you might call the earlier school, the Pali canon, where it is mentioned in the Anguttara Nikaya, where the Buddha is encouraging practitioners to practice, and Buddha says the mind is luminous. The mind is luminous. The mind by nature is free of defilements. And this itself is exactly what Buddha nature is described. It is a purity that is naturally free of defilements. And it said defilements are adventitious. Adventitious meaning they're not intrinsic to the nature of the mind, meaning they are acquired, and because they are acquired, they can be let go of. And I want to bring this topic about Buddha nature, sort of like taking the Theravadan perspective with the luminous mind, what is referred to as the Mahayana, the Sutra, and also some aspects of Tantra, and sort of blend them all into sort of one presentation without necessarily making direct quoting of, oh, this is coming from Mahayana, this is coming from Vajrayana, but just speak to it as though it is just from the understanding that they're all talking about one thing, and they present it in different ways. One of the first places where the Buddha talks about Buddha nature is in there's an actual sutra called Tathagatha Gharba Sutra, where the Buddha is talking about, and from the way the Buddha is talking about the Tathagatha Gharba, Gharba means womb. Tathagatha is the thus called one, so the enlightened one, the fully enlightened one. And the way the Buddha describes it in such a way that it may lead to understand that we are already enlightened, and the spiritual path is uncovering that we are already enlightened. And we have to make a distinction between enlightened nature and being enlightened. Okay, so all beings, whether they are enlightened or whether they are not enlightened, they all have enlightened nature. They have something that is referred to as enlightened nature. And enlightened nature here means capacity or potential to be enlightened. But when it is referred to as potential to be enlightened, it is not as grabbing as to say that you're already enlightened. It seems to throw you back into, yeah, work hard, eventually you will become enlightened. So the person who was tending to be discouraged in the first place may and go back to being discouraged again, feeling overwhelmed again. Oh yeah, I have the potential. Yeah, maybe in some trillion years, some trillion lifetime from now, I'll begin to transform myself into an enlightened being. Now, the one way of understanding Tathagatha Gharba, one way of understanding Buddha nature, this phrase Buddha nature, think of it as another way of describing, of saying emptiness. Emptiness takes you to absolutely no specific positive attribute that you can relate with. It is pure absence. It's just talking about absence, not this, not that, not this, not that. It is not saying this. It's not saying any this. So Buddha nature is a way of saying emptiness without making that emphasis on not this, not that, not this, not that. Only talking about not this, not that. But it cannot make a presentation of it is this in such a way without the danger of making us do the complete opposite of what emptiness is trying to make us do. Clinging to any notion of anything being of anything being something that is permanently, eternally abiding. Whatever we can think of in this life, whatever we can think of, whatever we can conjure up in our mind, we can only conjure it up within our mind of conceptualization. So whatever comes up within that field will be a concept. And a concept is basically a placeholder for something. It is, and the part of the problem that we fall into is that we take the placeholder as the thing itself that it is representing. That is the way we relate with our reality, is that we are relating with things that represent something. But what it is representing, we feel distant from them. There is a sense of distance. And what we tend to basically take the thing, the representation as the thing that it is representing. And because of that, we are expecting the representation to act as the thing that it is representing. Okay, it's like someone is sent by the king to give a message, and now you're treating the person who is sent by the king as though that person is the king, expecting that person to behave and act as the king. The person cannot do that. Okay, the person is there only as representation. Okay, all right. So you could say that is the hesitation, that is the precaution in teaching just emptiness without bringing any, without saying anything positive. By not saying anything positive, I mean by not bringing up any one thing. Okay, this is the absolute thing. This thing here, that's the absolute, without bringing anything like that. It doesn't say energy is the absolute thing. It doesn't say consciousness is the absolute thing. It doesn't say light is the absolute thing, even though these things are beautiful, even though these things are have they have this sort of like purity to them, but they're all relative. They're all representative of something much, much deeper. Okay, so to sort of not stay in sort of this negative, meaning not presenting anything. So the Tathagatha Gharba teaching is a way of presenting something. And when it presents something, by presenting, I'm not talking about presenting a teaching, I'm talking about talking about something that seems to be like, oh no, it's no longer nice, that is no longer just talking about just pure absence. It's something is being presented to you. Some absolute, some seeming absolute, like absolute light. Everything is light, everything is consciousness, everything is energy, something like that. Everything is love, something like that, okay? It seems to be doing that, but without necessarily qualifying it in any of the, with any convention that we can immediately cloak it with that convention and say, oh, it is this thing. Okay, all right, so the distinction between enlightened beings, beings who are not enlightened, they all have enlightened nature. So what is the distinction? So if there are enlightened beings and there are beings who are not enlightened, what is the difference between those two? So you could say enlightened nature manifests, expresses itself as enlightened being, and enlightened nature also manifests as unenlightened being. Now, what is the difference between an enlightened being and an unenlightened being? And that will help us understand how to make the distinction between enlightened being and enlightened nature. The thing is, an enlightened being, because that being knowing is in direct contact with its fundamental nature. So you could say when a being is aware of his enlightened field that is its nature, it is able to express enlightened expressions. You understand that? When you are in direct awareness, when you're in direct experience of your enlightened nature, you are then able to have expressions that are enlightened expressions, such as immeasurable, unfathomable love. That is an expression that is capable of arising, that is capable of appearing within a being who is in communication or is in contact with their enlightened nature. And another expression that is possible is experiencing unlimitedness, experiencing unobstructedness, all right? That is experiencing a state of being where you are not capable of being obstructed by time, where you are not being capable of being obstructed by energy, you're not being able to be obstructed by space and distance. None of these expressions are limitations to you. You're able to express a way of being that surpasses, overcome, or is unlimited or unobstructed by them. Okay, these are expressions of enlightenment. Okay, these are enlightened expressions. Now, when a person, and one thing I want to add to that is, think of the attributes that are understood to be attributes of an enlightened being, right? Unwavering, unshakable compassion, impeccable ethics, incapable of encountering a situation where they feel incapable of doing something. Okay, that is impossible for them, for an enlightened being to experience. I can't do this kind of thing. Okay. So when you think of these expressions that an enlightened being is expressing, we confuse those as being enlightened nature. These are not enlightened nature, but enlightened nature makes it possible for those expressions to be expressed, to be experienced. Now, what is an unenlightened being? An unenlightened being is someone, because they are not having direct awareness, direct experience of their enlightened nature, then the way enlightened nature is expressed is what we refer to as samsaric existence. It is still enlightened nature that is expressed as samsaric existence. Samsaric existence is not some other nature that we have to put aside and adopt and take on enlightened nature, and then we are then able to experience enlightenment. But just because we have enlightened nature doesn't mean that we are at the moment capable of expressing enlightened, what enlightened activities, being on activities of an enlightened being, like being able to be to have pure ethics, impeccable ethics. To by impeccable ethics means that every action that comes from you, everything that flows from you spontaneously is harmless. You spontaneously interact with reality, where there is not any part of your interaction that could be harmful, and there is no need to create the intention to be ethical. There's no need to create the intention to be loving, to be compassionate. There's no need to create any of these intentions, because these are naturally emerging from the fact that that person is directly experiencing the enlightened nature. So when you directly experience your enlightened nature, then these become spontaneous expressions. And because they are spontaneous expression, it gives the illusion that right here, right now, when I'm not enlightened, there is within me like omniscience. I'll take that quality. There is within me omniscience that I'm not expressing, but rather it is not that there is omniscience waiting. Enlightened nature doesn't mean that those different expressions that different enlightened beings demonstrate already exist as they are within enlightened nature, but rather you could say the interaction of directly experiencing enlightened nature makes it possible to express any of these things. So you could say, when I am not enlightened, I'm taking the very stuff, just for the sake of speaking, the very stuff that an enlightened being has. I'm taking that very same stuff, and I'm taking that stuff and molding it into my experience, or that is called samsaric existence. Okay, so you could even say that samsara is a spontaneous expression coming from ignorance of enlightened nature. And enlightenment is a spontaneous, nirvana is a spontaneous expression of direct knowing, direct experience of enlightened nature. So enlightened nature is the fundamental nature that is always there. It is not that omniscience is always there per se. It is not that boundless love is there already per se, but rather that enlightened nature, which is pure potential for any expression, when you are in direct communication with it, you have no choice but to spontaneously act in accordance with it. Acting out of love is acting is acting in accordance, is acting in in concert. It's acting in harmony with the very nature of reality. So you could say, when you abide purely in that Dharmakaya, in that when you're in, that's why the Buddha has three bodies: Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nimanakaya. So the Nimanakaya and the Sambhogakaya are expressions emerging from the Dhammakaya. And they're not linear in a sense of first Dhammakaya, wait a few times, and then come out, and then Sambhogakaya, and then wait a few times, and then boom, and then you're able to now do Nimanakaya. But instantly one experiences Dhammakaya, instantly one is able to express manifold expressions of Sambhogakaya, manifold expressions of Nimanakayas. And it is not that the Dhammakaya itself is holding Nimanakaya. It's not like there are 1 trillion bodies in there already, and then you're sort of looking around and say, okay, I'll pick this one. That's what I mean by they're not abiding there already. But rather, think of into the Dhammakaya and abiding in the Dhammakaya, stay in the Dhammakaya. There's no a bunch of Nimanakayas that you're sort of like trying to make up your mind, okay, which Nimanakaya I should take. It's not like there's a bunch of Sambhogakayas, you say, okay, which one I should take. It's not like, should I take love or should I take compassion over there? Oh, look at that over there, that's omniscience. Which one should I take within this Dhammakaya? But rather, the very spontaneous response to interact, that very action itself, because it is emerging, and emerging give it a sense of time, but this is just for the sake of expression, just for the sake of communicating, because we dwell in time and one after the other kind of thing. So we have to speak this way, but it doesn't exactly occur this way, all right? So just for the sake of speaking and understanding, so when you're abiding in pure Dhammakaya, there is not a bunch of things that you're trying to make up your mind to see which one I should take. But the very interaction from Dhammakaya, that very interaction is itself the display that is being witnessed as love when it is interacting with another, when it is interacting with space, when it is interacting with matter. That's what it is, that interaction that we are calling love, that we are calling omniscience, that we are calling ethics. But it is not the intention coming out of it, let me now act out of love. Let me now demonstrate omniscience. Let me now demonstrate ethics. But it is purely from the perspective outside of it that is observing these things, and it is seeing different things because of the way it is because of the way it's interacting. It's like a cloud. It is a cloud, and as it moves, it takes on different shapes. It is still cloud. It is just we perceiving it, saying, oh, it now looks like a rabbit, now it looks like an umbrella, now it looks like a ball. But it's not intending, okay, let me now make ball because I have ball within me. It is now become rabbit because I have rabbit within me. It is just our perspective of the Dharmakaya. And because we are not yet capable of directly experiencing Dhammakaya, we are seeing manifold expressions. Just like emptiness, take it to emptiness. Everything is fundamentally empty. Everything that we are seeing are expressions of emptiness. You are an expression of emptiness, and emptiness, take it in a positive way, pure potential for any appearance, for any manifestation. So it is we've taken pure potential for any appearance, for any experience. We've taken that potential and we molded it into what we are. So what you are right now, your body, your energy, your mind, your beliefs, your convictions, your drives, all these are your Tathagatha Gharba. All these are already, it's not like your Buddha nature is hiding somewhere within you and you're supposed to clear away the things that are not Buddha nature so that you can get to Buddha nature. Everything that you are experiencing, that are expressions, are themselves Buddha nature molded into those things. So in every experience that you are having, at the most fundamental state, it is emptiness. That you're witnessing molding of emptiness. You're witnessing molding of the Tathagatha Gharba. Okay. And now, what's the purpose of all this? Is, yes, the teaching of Tathagatha Gharba is telling us there's no need for us. That which we are looking for is not outside of us, but it doesn't mean that it is hidden within us, as if we have to take things that are not it away and then we finally find it. But rather, it is this very body, this very energy, these very emotions, these very thoughts, this very ignorance. It is itself that very Tathagatha Gharba. It is itself that Dharma Dhatu, that Buddha Dhatu. It is not anything else, but rather we experience it as samsara because of our relationship to it. We experience it at nirvana because of our relationship to it. Okay. And once you know that it is not that, well, I'm already a Buddha, so I don't really have to work hard anymore because I'm already a Buddha, that will bring up a sense of complacency. That will bring up a sense of procrastination. And it is very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous to be spiritually complacent. It is very, very, very dangerous to procrastinate on the spiritual path. Especially when there's a sense within you that you've made sincere contact. When there's that sense within you, then it behooves you. It is your duty to not waste time. It is your duty to become enlightened as fast as possible. And enlightenment, becoming enlightened, doesn't mean taking on some foreign personality, taking on some foreign nature, and then taking who you are and I don't know, disposing of it. If you feel hesitation towards becoming enlightened, it is because somewhere within you there is this conviction that enlightenment is becoming someone else and then disposing of who you are. And of course, if this conviction is strong within you, no matter how much effort you put in trying to be enlightened, it will always be there to stop you, because you are recreating the very condition that nourishes samsaric existence: fear of annihilation. If you believe that becoming enlightened means I have to be annihilated so that some new personality to be born, then there will be there a dread of annihilation. And this tana, this dread of annihilation, is the key that keeps samsaric existence continuing. It reinforces the sense of a separate I. It reifies it. Okay. So don't think of enlightenment as becoming a new personality, getting rid of who you are. Okay. It is simply really coming in direct communication, direct contact with what is already here. Remember, it is Buddha nature that is already here. It is emptiness that is already here. You don't need something other than what is here. That is the encouragement that the Tathagatha Gharba teaching is trying to impress us with. That you don't need something other than what you already have. Whatever your experience is, whatever the experience that you're going through, no matter how painful, no matter how blissful it is, whatever experience you're having, sincerely having, that is the thing to be molded into a different expression. Okay. And it is that can be experienced as enlightenment, being enlightened. Okay. I think I've said, everything that I thought I needed to say about this topic. And I hope that it cleared some misunderstandings, or it cleared some questions that you may have had. And if you have any, if I've left, I'm sure I may have left there are certain things that I didn't quite get into. So if you have any questions, you can ask your question or emphasize something. I was hoping that also that you feel encouraged. You take on the spiritual path with gusto, with vibrancy. I don't have to go shopping, so I can start the path, so I can be enlightened. The raw material is you. You are the raw material. And everything that is appearing as you right now, they're just expressions. They're not the fundamental, authentic you. Okay. All right. So it seems like there are no questions, or maybe I didn't stop talking long enough. All right. Okay. I hope it wasn't that I confused you too much that you don't know what question to ask, or if it was that it was so well explained that you don't need any more explanation. Okay. So let's do closing meditation. because in meditation with this understanding of Tathagatha Gharba. It is the understanding of Tathagatha Gharba that makes tantric path, that makes the path of Tantra possible. And you could say all paths, whether they are Theravadins, whether they are pure, what's called the pure lenders, whether they call themselves just Mahayana Sutras, whether they call themselves Vajrayana of this, of that, whether they call themselves beyond, whatever, everyone is doing the same thing. We are pretending so that one day we realize what we are pretending we already are. Okay. Let's do some pretending. Bring your intention to intermeditation. And just hold the intention and feel the body, the energy, the emotions, the intellectual part of you, they're all responding to this intention. Let yourself be sensitive enough to feel their response, the physical response, where you feel the need to make adjustments in the body. That's the physical body communicating to you and you're responding to it. And that energetic feeling that you feel, it is already entering meditative state. And just for the sake of talking about it, we'll use these sort of poetic words, but these words are not, remember, they're just representations of something. There is this field of magic, and all reality is this field of magic, where any expression is possible. Time is possible. Time being experienced a certain way is possible. Space is possible. Distance is possible, where distance and space can be experienced in various ways. Consciousness is possible, where consciousness can be experienced in multiple, manifold ways. Physicality, matter, energy, all of these things can be composed, arranged in infinite possible ways, infinite possible experiences. And we dwell in that field. We are that field. We are in that field. Right now, this very field, we have molded it into, let me be limited. Let me be limited. Let me have fear. Let me take it and mold it into hesitation. Let me mold it into unenlightenment. Let me mold it into suffering. This is what we have done with it. And because it is itself what reality is, we experience real suffering, real limitations. And even if you don't know it, you're interacting with it, there are expressions that emerge from it, that it transforms into, that it appears as. Now it appears as us sitting in meditation. feel us sitting in a circle. See this feel of reality, this magical feel now appearing as us sitting in a circle. Invoke a pure expression of it, meaning an expression that immediately connects our consciousness to knowing it. It takes the appearance of pure light. Expanding. It is that pure field transforming into expansion of light. That pure field appearing as enveloping us into that light. That pure field taking on the appearance of oneness. It is not oneness, it is taking the appearance of oneness. It is that pure field taking on the appearance of no longer having differentiations. No longer having differentiation is just an appearance of this pure magic field. And that pure field takes on the appearance of light, that field of light shrinking into absolute pure potential. Because of the complete absence of any differentiation, there's the feel of pure freedom, vastness. But vastness is just expression looking. There is bliss, but bliss is just expression looking. And within this pure undifferentiation, make the intention to appear, but appear in such a way that consciousness is always aware of this field, that it is this field. Light comes back into space and vastness. Light filling space, removing differentiation, replaces, let differentiation returns. And here we are again. Look at us. So let your every relating emerge from this understanding. So when others are looking, they think, oh, you're acting with love. When others perceive, they say, oh, you're acting with ethics. But you have no intention to be ethical, no intention to be loving. You're simply spontaneously acting from your fundamental nature. Let's make this feel appear as arising from meditation. Taking a deep breath, releasing the appearance of re-engaging through senses, touch, hearing, sight. Thank you very much. Until next time. Oh, I'm the host. I'm supposed to be shutting things down. Uh, Thank you, Dr. Sujata.
You in a bit.